Hi, we are back with another edition of Real Talk with Real People, and my guest today is Pennie Pavic. Hi, Pennie.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. And how
Good.
about you?
I'm doing wonderful. So before we get started, I want everyone to know that Pennie is my oldest sister. And I am grateful to have her on this show today because I've always admired my older sister. And she has always done great and wonderful things. And I'm happy that we're going to talk about just a couple of those great and wonderful things that she has done that I have admired. And one of those things that she has done was become, and I'm going to say this correctly this time, Sommelier. Did I say that right, Pennie?
Yeah. Sommelier.
Okay. Now, for those who don't know what a sommelier is, because I just learned what it was myself, why don't you tell us what that is?
Okay, so a sommelier is a person that's wine knowledgeable. And when I say wine knowledgeable, they're knowledgeable about wines, beers, and spirits, but mostly wine. But in order to pass your sommelier or to be a master sommelier, you have to know about all wines, beers, and spirits.
Oh, okay. And do you know about wines, beers, and spirits?
Well, I know how to drink all three of them.
So do I. That's about the only thing I know about it.
Yeah, so more wine than the beer and spirits, because I'm not a real beer or spirits drinker, but I am a wine drinker. And so let me just give you a little short history of wine. Wine has been produced for thousands of years and is completely intertwined with history in the Western civilization. And its modern history of wine includes the evolution of wine during the Dark Ages and the Middle Ages. And you would not think that, but pretty much that's how it evolved. So wine is as old as, goes back to AD. The monks used to make wine, and it's like now it's a little bit more modern than it used to be. But we're talking about between 5,000 BC and 7,000 BC. They can trace wine back to.
Yes.
And believe it or not, wine has a DNA. Just like we have a DNA, so does wine. So you can trace their DNA back to the vines, to where it came from, and how old. And these are all the things that a sommelier will learn as they are taking the course.
Oh, okay. And those are things that are very interesting because when regular lay people like myself, when we open up a bottle of wine, we just want to know if it tastes good. But a lot goes into
and
that bottle of wine.
And when a sommelier opens a bottle of wine, they want to know that it tastes good too, but they're looking for a little bit more characteristics than tasting good. So a sommelier will be able to tell you once a wine has been opened and they take their first sip, where the wine came from. That's number one. What type of grape the wine is, and nowadays everything is a blend of something, so you would have to know what type of grapes. So if it's got Malbec or Cabernet or Pinot, you would have to know all of those things. A good sommelier can just taste the wine, know the region, know the type of wine, the type of grape, the type of soil it was produced in. But bottom line is everybody wants a good bottle of wine that they enjoy.
Exactly. Now, I know for a fact that you make your own wine because I've been blessed with a few bottles of those wines. So what made you want to make your own wine? Is it because you became a sommelier? Did you want to make your own wine, or did you want to do it before you even became?
I think that okay, so once I became a sommelier, we went to France and we went to Bordeaux. We spent 14 days in Bordeaux. And the process of making wine is a very hard process. So when you buy that $9 or $20 or even $60 bottle of wine in the store, do know that a lot of hard work went into making that bottle of wine that you have, and the people that are making it, the winemakers that are making this wine, I mean, they're making it for the sole purpose. Yes, they want the profit too, but it's not a heck of a lot of profit. But they're making it for the sole purpose of enjoyment and, bragging rights and lots of other little things that they, wine brings to them. So it's one of those things that I just wanted to see if I could make it, and if I could make it, does it taste good? So, of course, I've cheated because I don't own a vineyard.
Right.
So if you own a vineyard, that is your ultimate way of making wine. So growing the vines and growing the grapes, cultivating the grapes, taking care of the grapes, picking the grapes, and then finally that process of making wine. So when I say that I make wine, yeah, I do, and I make it from a kit. So it's certainly not the way a winemaker and all the hard work that they put in making wine. So
I actually
I
understand
like
that.
to put that out there in the atmosphere.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying that, because that makes a lot of sense to me. And I actually understand that. Because we do get a little confused. And it's important that we understand the work that goes into doing these things, especially when you said about having a vineyard. I mean, they grow their own grapes, right?
So I will tell you this, that a bottle of wine that you pick up in the store, those vines are very old, the grapes, because it takes, yes, every year the grapes harvest, and they harvest the grapes, but once they make the wine, it just doesn't stop at there. You have to, all this wine has to, for lack of a better word, get mellowed, and, it's a process, and that process could take sometimes, at a minimum, 2 years, but at a maximum, 25 years. So when you get a good bottle of wine and it's been aged, okay, and so sometimes you'll hear aged in an oak barrel for 5 years. That's how long it's taken that bottle of wine to age and for it to be put to use so it tastes like something. Because when you make the wine, it doesn't automatically taste like wine. Yes, it tastes like wine, but not wine that you want to drink right away.
Okay. So it's a.
Now, there are some vines that they do make wine and you can drink it right away. It's like a year old. Mm-hmm. But we're talking about the really good wines that take 5 years or more to actually age and taste really good.
Okay. Is that the ones that have the reserved on the bottle?
No. Okay, so there is a classification, and I'm not going to get too much into that because it's really it's confusing, it's difficult, but there are lots of books that you can go online, and each there's a classification to like each wine, and the reason why they have like Bordeaux is one for having like superior, and they have all kinds of rankings. So this is making it simple, but not really simple enough. Okay, so they're called AOC regulations, and what that is they put the wine in its origin, the approved grape, the harvest, the yield, the aging regimen, and it's called viticulture, VITI culture. And so that's pretty much like the soil and stuff. So it is ranked by that. So when you look on a bottle and it has, Superior, like Bordeaux Superior, mm-hmm. Well, do you know that that's not the top line of the grape? That's like the fourth. So these grapes are like mashed. First mash and it's drained. Mm-hmm. That's the best wine, okay? And what happens is, especially in wines from France and wines from Napa and Sonoma, the first batch that comes out, are the most expensive batches of wine, and they're like they're bought by futures. So they would go to the vineyard. Like, okay, let me give you an example. So if I would go to the vineyard today, and the vines are in harvest, I would buy all of that wine, but it wouldn't be available to me until maybe 5 or 10 years, because that's when it would be aged, but it's bought like that. So the very first batch is the very best batch of the wine. And then you've got your second batch, which is your second best batch of the wine. Then you've got and these are all from the same grapes. So they mash the first batch, and then they put the grapes back. They take, they juice it again. So the second juice is your second best. And then they juice it again. That's your third best. Now, once they start juicing it the fourth and fifth time, that's where you get like your table wine, your very inexpensive wine. It's still good wine, but, it's not the very best.
Okay.
And I think I just veered off of what we were talking about.
No. This is good information.
So
no, I'm excited to hear all this, because I'm going to ask you, what would a good bottle of wine cost someone like me? I'm not rich, so I can't be spending thousands of dollars on a bottle of wine.
Okay, so this is no joke. I am not a snobby wine drinker. I have drank a bottle of wine that costs literally $250. I have drank a bottle of wine that costs $150. I've drank a bottle of wine that costs $100. And I've drank your everyday wine that's $20. It depends on your palate.
Okay.
And what your palate likes. And to be perfectly honest with you, that $250 bottle of wine I would never buy again, because for me, it wasn't that spectacular for my palate.
Okay. And I understand what you're saying.
So I have had some spectacular bottles of wine that cost me $30.
Okay. I actually brought a $160 bottle of wine. I brought it for me and
you were disappointed, right?
I was disappointed because I guess I said to myself that probably I don't have a good palate for knowing what good wine tastes like. But I didn't enjoy it. And I said I brought it because it was of a reserve. That's why I asked you about reserve. And it had cognac in it as well. It was mixed with cognac. And so I brought it because it was me and Al's anniversary. We were coming up on our, I think, 25th wedding anniversary. So I brought it so it can be special. But I have to agree with you. I have enjoyed cheaper wines that have been great to me.
Very good.
As opposed to that wine that that I purchased. So that's why I was asking you, how do we, the normal individuals such as myself who don't have the experience as you, how do we know what's a good bottle of wine and what's junk?
Well, this is the thing. Okay, and I tell everybody that are wine drinkers nowadays, go to your local Trader Joe's. If you have a Trader Joe's, you go and you buy the varietals. So a varietal is a Cabernet Sauvignon, a Pinot Grigio, Merlot, Malbec. You just go and buy a bottle, an inexpensive bottle. It doesn't necessarily have to be cheap, but inexpensive. And if you like that varietal, then you go to a higher-end store, and then you buy one that's a little bit more expensive, like maybe start at $20. And then graduate up to maybe a $50 bottle of wine. But I wouldn't go more than $50, $60 for like an everyday wine. And then gradually let your palate decide what they like, what it likes to drink. So what I'm saying is that, I buy wine from Trader Joe's. I also buy wine from Total Wine. I also buy wine from a company called Wines Till They're Sold Out, which they have like hard-to-find wines. And I just pick and choose what I like. Some I do like and some I don't. But I would suggest that if you find several good wines that you like, write them down.
Okay.
So that you'll always be able to find them again.
Yes. I seem to have a great liking to Cabernet Sauvignon. I love that wine, and I can pretty much buy it in anybody's label, and it still tastes good to me. And also, was it
Well,
Pinot
I
Noir?
will tell you the difference. Okay, so you like Cabernet Sauvignon, so
Yeah.
I would buy a bottle of California Cab.
California.
And that's
Okay.
the nickname because, not everybody wants to go Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yeah.
Because that's the way you're supposed to say
Right,
it. But
right.
anyway.
So
Buy a
California.
bottle of Cab from California and buy a bottle of Cab from France.
Okay.
And then side by side, put them together and drink them. Have a sip of the one from California, preferably Napa, but Sonoma is good too.
Okay.
And then try the bottle of wine from France. And I will tell you that you will know the difference right away.
Oh, okay. So you're not going to tell me which one is the best. You're going to let me figure it out myself.
No, I'm going to let you figure it out yourself.
Okay.
But I will tell you this, that in the French wines, and just remember this, that the French have been making wines much longer than California.
Okay.
So I will tell you that. But this too, that a while ago, probably in the 1800s, there was a disease of the vines in France. So a winemaker took a lot of the vines that were not diseased, and they came to America, and preferably California, and they grew those vines.
Okay.
So that's how, and then when the disease was all fixed and over with, they cleared up the disease of the vines. They went and they brought those vines back and, regrew them in France. So California and France has similar taste, but not exactly. And the reason why they don't have similar taste, I'm not gonna make you go and try to find that out. It's because of the soil. The soil is different when you're growing your grapes, and that's what makes the characteristics of your grape is the soil.
Okay, that makes
so in
sense.
each of the countries that make wine, and believe it or not, all 51 of our states here in the United States make wine.
Oh, okay.
And all countries make wine of some sort.
All
I mean,
right.
we may not like to drink them, but, every country in the world makes wine, even in Africa.
Yeah.
They make wine.
I've actually tasted a few from different countries that I actually
South
enjoy.
Africa has some wonderful wines. Like their Cabernet Sauvignons are really, really good. And their Cabernet Franc, that's really good wine. But South Africa is known for their Pinotage.
What is that?
Pinotage is a grape that is grown in Africa. It's grown other places too, but predominantly Africa and South Africa. And it's a different type of taste. It's a cross between Cabernet, Merlot, Pinot Noir, and it's only grown commercially in South Africa. I mean, it's like I said, there are other places where it's grown, but it grows very well in South Africa.
Now, is that wine expensive?
This, dark, fruity, like earthy, and again, it comes from the soil.
Okay, but is it expensive?
No, if you can get a nice bottle of Pinotage for $20, beautiful. It's a beautiful wine.
Okay.
And when you hear people say beautiful, they mean like the taste, like when you can taste the fruit in the wine, but it's not sweet. Okay, so I don't personally like sweet wines, but when people think of fruit, they think of it's sweet. Well, no, because wine from grapes are different than from grapes that you buy in the store.
Okay. But there are some wines that do have a sweetness to it, like the sweet reds.
Absolutely. And a lot of those wines, sugar has been added.
I don't even like sweet wine, personally.
Yeah, but, you got to learn to like everything. There
I
are
know.
Some sweet wines. Sweet wines have their place in the food chain here. So if you're eating dessert, a nice sweet wine is great for like a nice chocolate cake. Like, imagine having a nice chocolate cake and just a glass of, let's say, Moscato.
Okay,
or Riesling.
But I like Moscato.
Beautiful.
I don't like Riesling though. I
You don't
don't.
like Riesling?
No, I don't.
Well, it depends, okay? Because remember that wine is always good with what you're eating.
Okay.
That's another thing about wine. I mean, we're all over the place here, but wine is also good with what you're eating. So if you're eating a nice, juicy steak, you want a nice, hearty wine like a Cabernet Sauvignon or a Cab Franc or a Bold Merlot. You wouldn't want, like, a white wine with a steak. You would want something hearty and red.
Oh,
now, if you're
okay.
eating seafood, a white wine is great, and the only red wine that I would even recommend with seafood would be a Pinot Noir,
Okay.
and it just complements like a salmon. So it depends on what you're eating. Brings out the wine even more.
Okay.
So when you say you don't like sweet wine, try having sweet wine with like chocolate cake, or there's that pudding. I forgot the name of the pudding, but it's like can't even think of the name of the pudding right now. But something very rich.
So
those things go.
it's more of
with,
a dessert
like
wine.
a sweet wine. Yeah.
A dessert
And
wine.
it doesn't have to be a dessert wine. It could just be a sweet wine, because there are dessert wines. Like ice wine is a nice dessert wine. You get that really nice and cold, and you have it with a dessert, and it complements the dessert.
Oh,
Cream
okay.
brulee is what I was trying to think of.
Oh, right,
So,
yeah.
you know, you have a nice dessert wine with like a creme brulee. It just brings out the creme brulee.
Oh, okay. You know, I'm glad I'm having this conversation with you, because I'm going to be real honest with you. I just open a bottle of wine and drink it because I like it. And I don't even consider the food that I'm eating with
And most
it.
people do that. They just open a bottle of wine and they drink it. If they like it, that's fine. They'll buy it again. If they don't like it, then they won't buy it again.
Right. But I
And
didn't.
that's your typical person. So I don't want people to think that, you know, in order to be a sommelier, you have to have a discriminative taste bud, or a palate that's really way out there, because that's not it at all. Wine should be a personal choice of what you enjoy. So if you enjoy a glass of, let's say, a bold Cabernet Sauvignon, so that's your choice.
Right.
That's what you drink. And even if you like to drink that Cabernet Sauvignon with like fish, like Goran, he doesn't care.
Okay.
He doesn't like white wine, so he will never drink white wine with fish.
Okay.
He drinks his red, and that's it.
Okay, that he sounds like me, because I like red wine. So, and I like that particular one. I very seldom buy a white wine, but I do buy it for the summertime, because I'm thinking it's a little lighter for the summer. So I will buy a white wine for the summer.
Well, there are some good white wines that you can try. Okay, so there's a wine called Albarino, and it's Spanish. And it's from a grape called Galicia. It's a Galicia grape, and it's very good. Now, it's on the dry side, but it has a little teeny sweetness to it, and that's what white wines usually are, because the white wine grape is different, totally different from the red wine grape. You can always taste the fruit in like a white wine. You taste like kiwi, and sometimes you taste peaches, and all of that. They call the fruit with the pits in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So those are the type of white wines, and then you have your Chardonnays, and there are different types of Chardonnays. There's buttery Chardonnay, which I happen to love if I'm drinking white wine. I love buttery Chardonnays. But then there's those seal barrel Chardonnays that taste minerally, like minerals.
Yeah.
And, those are good with, like, fish that you put on the grill. They're easy drinking. And then you have Pinot Grigio, that's, the Italian wine.
Yeah.
And it's also good, like an easy drinking wine if you're going to drink, white wine. White wine is not as complex and not, there's just as many white wine varieties as there are
red
wine varieties. But for the most part, people drink red wine because of a lot of its benefits. So, of course, experts are quick to point out that wine is beneficial to your health in moderation only. Like, it lowers your risk of liver disease.
Mm-hmm.
It's healthier for your heart. They say that it's men who drink 4 to 7 glasses of red wine weekly are half likely to be diagnosed with prostate cancer. There are research that actually has proven this.
Yeah.
Drinking at least 2 glasses of wine a week may lower the risk of kidney cancer. And because it has this, it's called resveratrol, that may be the key to unlocking the secret of living a longer life.
Mm.
You can only go by, like, the French. The French drink wine every single day.
Yeah. No, I actually
when we
heard
were
that
in
too.
France, I was looking for some water, and so we went into this store thinking, they have to have bottled water in here. So I asked the guy, I said, so can I have a bottle of water? He says, Madame, why drink water when you can drink wine? So I'm looking at him like, really? Can I have some water? So the French drink wine all the time.
Yeah. But you know what? I have heard that it was healthy to drink wine. In fact, I remember when I go to the doctor and I have my checkup, and she asks if I drink and stuff like that. And I always say, well, I don't drink, but I do have a glass of wine from time to time. And she would say, oh, good. Mm-hmm. She would say, good. That's good for you. You can keep doing that in moderation. So, I drink wine also not just for the pleasure, because like you pointed out and like my doctor pointed out, it sometimes it has benefits, health benefits. So, I want to be healthy.
So earlier I had mentioned that there was a disease in Europe. It was called Flexoria, and it's spelled Phyllloxera, because I don't say it right, but it's Flexoria. But a lot of the vines had to be replanted because of that disease. And there were 10,450 acres that were planted in Napa from France because of that disease. So that's why when people compare wine from France and they compare wine from Napa, it gets kind of close. But Napa is a little bit, they're not as strict as France. France is totally strict about making their wines. Whereas with California, they're not so strict, because California adds alcohol, like spirits, to their wines sometimes to fortify them. Mm-hmm. Whereas France, that's a no-no.
Okay. Now, let me ask you a question. When you buy a wine that, like, say, a blueberry wine, is blueberries added to the grapes to make it a blueberry wine?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
they put like an extract of blueberries in there so that you get the blueberry taste.
Okay.
Because obviously you can ferment blueberries and make wine, because any fermented fruit will make wine.
Okay.
So if I have a bunch of, I happen to be looking at some pears that I have on the table. So if I just peeled my pears and fermented them, and then went through the process of putting the yeast and that could turn into wine. So any fruit, you can have a fruit wine.
Okay.
But a real wine, when I say real wine, I'm not saying that blueberry wine is not real wine, because most people that like blueberry wine thinks it is a real wine, because it does have, it ferments, it ferments and it becomes alcohol. So it's actually wine. But we're talking about wine in a sense of wine grapes that really make wine, not fruit, because there's a difference between fruit wines and grape wines.
Okay. That makes sense. So, now that you have your license or you've been certified, does that mean you could work like in a restaurant or in a place where they specialize in wine? Is that what the license is for?
So most sommeliers, when they go through, because it's hard to go through this course. So I am only a second level sommelier, so that means that I've gone through course 1 and course 2 successfully and got certified.
How many levels are there?
There is a level 3, and then there is the master sommelier.
Oh.
And so, yeah, and I'm going to tell you what that means. So level 2, I can now call myself a sommelier, and yes, I can work in a restaurant, and I can recommend wines to people because I understand the basics of what wine is, how it's grown, what it consists of, and all of that. So I'm now qualified to recommend wines to you.
Okay.
And I can work in a restaurant. That's totally not what I want to do, but most people that take that, go through that training, they do. They're doing it because they want to work in a restaurant atmosphere or own a wine store or something of that nature. So now, third level, you're able to teach people about wine.
Okay.
And a master sommelier can do it all. And let me just tell you, it takes 6 years of studying 6 years or more of studying to become a master sommelier. You have to take a test that I heard that is grueling. I remember when we were in class, the teacher said 95% of the people that take the master sommelier's test fail. Throughout, I don't know what the total is today, but when I took my course, there were only 158 master sommeliers throughout the world, not just the United States, throughout the whole entire world.
Wow.
And out of those 158 at the time, there were only 12 that were women.
Wow. What made you want to do this?
Curiosity, I guess.
Okay.
I wanted to know where wine actually, how it was made. In order to make it, you have to know where it came from, what it tastes like, what it's supposed to taste like, you know what I mean?
Right.
So when you're drinking wine, so we'll take your Cabernet. So since you like Cabernet Sauvignon.
Yes.
When you taste a Cabernet, what do you taste?
I don't know if I can identify it. I just like it.
Okay, so the next time, I want you to write this down. The next time you taste a Cabernet, I want you to look for these characteristics in a Cabernet, because each wine has characteristics
that
you're supposed to be able to taste. Okay, so in a Cabernet, you should be able to taste leather sometimes. And I know you're saying leather. Yeah, leather.
Well, I'm writing this stuff down, so...
Most people, because I know I asked in class, being the smart person that I am, I've never tasted leather. What does it taste like?
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. How would I even know?
You know what I mean? And the teacher was quick to say, smell the belt. She had a belt there. Mm-hmm. Smell this belt and then taste this wine. And I swear to you, I tasted leather.
Okay. All right. So I'm writing it down, leather.
Blackberries.
Okay.
a fruit called currant. Now, we sometimes say raisins, but raisins and currants are two different things.
Okay.
So if you, you may taste currants, you may taste blackberries, you may taste blueberries, you may even taste, sometimes I've tasted licorice, that black licorice.
Right.
And typically those wines I don't like, because I don't really like licorice and, real licorice, so I don't like wines that reminds me of licorice.
Okay.
So the next time you drink a bottle of your favorite cab,
okay,
look for those qualities. Now, if you don't taste them, don't force it.
Okay, no.
But if you do taste it, write it down.
I'm going to. As a matter of fact, tonight, because I have a bottle that I'm going to open.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look for those qualities. Because, basically,
Mm-hmm.
I just open up a bottle of wine and I drink it because I like it. But now that you've educated me, I'm going to look for some of these qualities. I am.
And if you're aware, on the back of your palate, you know how, you're gargling?
Yeah.
And I know some people say, that's stupid. But it's not stupid, because the back of your palate is where your taste buds are. So when you gargle, that part in the back of your mouth, when you open your mouth, where your tonsils are?
Yeah.
Well, if you get the wine back there and you kind of gargle it and then swallow it, that's when you'll taste those flavors, whether it's the blueberry or the leather or whatever. That's when you're going to taste that, and then just swallow it.
Okay. I'm seriously going to do that, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I discover.
Okay.
I'm excited now.
And then for you, I would like for you to venture out and drink some other wines besides Cabernet.
Oh, no.
I would like for you to maybe try Claret.
Spell that for me.
It's Claret.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the story of Claret.
Okay.
So in France, the French always has a blend. You always know this is a bottle of wine from France if it has Cabernet, and depending on which part of, because in France's wine country,
mm-hmm.
there are two distinct places in Bordeaux. You have the left bank and then you have the right bank. The right bank is where most of the Merlot, and on the left bank is where most of the Cabernet is planted. So with that, you have wines that are blended, and a good blend for Bordeaux is always Cabernet, Cab Franc, and Petit Bordeaux. I'm sorry, Petit Bordeaux.
Petit
And
Bordeaux?
Those are that particular blend. So back to the Claret. Long years ago, the British used to buy the wine from the French,
mm-hmm.
and they felt that their Bordeaux was too strong for them. So what the French did was they made same Bordeaux, but they kind of watered it down for the British, and they called it Claret.
Okay.
Now, to me, I like Claret.
So is watered down
you can have
wine?
some strong Clarets too.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
it's not as strong as a Bordeaux, because the British they liked Bordeaux, but they just wanted it not so strong.
Okay. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, so try Claret. That's another good one. And Merlot. When you drink Merlot, what do you drink Merlot?
I used to drink Merlot. It seems a bit I don't want to use the word strong. I'm going to say heavy.
Yes. I always felt the same thing about Merlot, that Merlot is a very good red wine, and it's a key player in Bordeaux, in all the Bordeaux blends.
Mm-hmm.
And in California and Washington State, they love that grape. Gorin is that's one of his favorites, Merlot.
Okay.
And usually it has that black cherry, that herbal, that medicine.
Yeah.
Medicine.
Yeah.
Medicinal.
Yeah. It seems heavy.
And green peppers.
Oh, that's right. It does have like a peppery taste to it. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yes, like green peppers. So the next time you drink a bottle of Merlot, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to like kind of gargle it in your throat and see if you can't taste that peppery or the black cherry or the medicinal, like medicine. And that's one of the reasons why I don't particularly. I mean, I do like Merlot, and I will drink it with certain foods. It's really good, like with pork, with some grilled meats, with lamb. But you have to have an acquired taste for Merlot, in my opinion.
Yeah, I know you do, because like I said, when I first started drinking red wine, that's what me and Al was buying. And I was drinking it, but I kept saying, I don't know. I don't really like this. And that's when I started going with a little less, it seemed harsh is the word I want to say, but not, it just seemed strong. And I wanted something a little bit lighter. A little bit lighter.
So I have a quiz question. Do you know how many varietals of wine exist?
I absolutely do not. I'm not even going to attempt to answer.
So when we think of grapes, we think of like Cabernet, Merlot, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, just to name a few. Did you know that there were over 10,000 varietals of wine?
No, I did not know that.
10,000 is a lot. So it was a goal once upon a time in my life to go through all 10,000, and I realized you'll be a drunk by the time you go through all 10,000 of those varietals. So
how many have you gone through, though?
Not.
How many have you gone through?
I will tell you about 60.
No, because I know
different varietals.
Yeah, because I know that you and Gorman enjoy your wine and you have it with dinner, like every night, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, every night.
Right. So I can imagine that you've probably tried to taste as many of them as possible.
Yeah, because just remember, it's not just about California and France. Okay, Italy makes beautiful wines like Barolo, Barbaresco, Brunello, some that I can't even pronounce the word. So, and they make wines like Cabernet, and now Italy are making what they call Super Tuscan wines. And what those are is, remember what I told you about the strict codes that they have for wines, like AOC, and honestly, I have forgotten some of the what these mean because I haven't looked at my books in so long, and so I enjoy the wine, and I don't really care about the rest of the stuff anymore, but they're called appellation controls, that they have.
Okay.
And each country has their own designation. Like France has AOC, I think Italy has ACC, and all the other countries, they followed suit. But anyway, Italy broke the rule of having one varietal in a wine and decided that they wanted to make super wine. So they mixed a whole bunch of wines together that was never mixed before in Italy. And that's what they're calling their Super Tuscan.
Super Tuscan?
And they're super good, too, by the way.
Oh, are they super good? Okay. Can I find Super Tuscan over here in like a Trader Joe's?
Okay, so I will tell you that, I spend a lot of time in Trader Joe's.
Yes.
And I don't see very many Super Tuscans there. I see your regular Italian wines. I don't see many Super Tuscans, but I will tell you that, like, if you have a total wine,
I do have a total wine. What about Costco? Because I have a tendency to buy my wines from Costco or BJ's.
The problem with me in North Carolina is that our Costco does not sell spirit.
Oh, okay,
It just strictly sells wine and beer.
Okay.
So we're controlled here in North Carolina, and so if we have to go to places. I mean, they sell wine in Costco, but not the rest of the stuff. So you did ask me about wine, right? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay though.
Okay.
Yeah, just wine.
So there are certain places that we Yeah, Costco has some, but I think a store with you being in New Jersey, you could probably find Super Tuscan even in your supermarket.
Well, I don't know if I can buy wine in my supermarket here in Jersey.
Oh, you can't buy wine in the super. Well, we can buy wine here in our supermarket.
Yeah, see, I'm like, I don't know about that. But in the
And,
BJ's
you
or
might
the
want to check
Costco's,
with your Trader Joe's because your Trader Joe's may be different than ours. And the reason why I go back to Trader Joe's is because Trader Joe's has fabulous wines that are inexpensive. Costco has fabulous wines that are inexpensive.
yes, they do.
BJ's has fabulous wines that are inexpensive.
Yes, they
They're
do.
really good wines.
And that's where I have a tendency to get my wine from. Like if I go to BJ's,
Yeah.
I'll just go ahead and stock up. Like I have, I already did my stock up since Al doesn't really drink wine like I drink wine. So, we have the little wine case that holds 40 bottles. But what I try to do is fill it so I have a wine for a while. So I still have
Right.
lots of bottles of the wine that I like, which is the cab. But
Right.
I got a couple of the Pinot, was it Pinot Grigio? Because it's the white wine.
Yeah, Pinot Grigio is good wine. Pinot Gris is good wine. But if you're looking for a wine that's slightly sweet, but not really, really sweet, because again, I'm not really a sweet wine drinker.
Right.
But Vouvray is another good wine from France. It's spelled Vouvrayy.
Okay.
Vouvray.
Now, is that a white
And
or a red?
It's a white wine,
Okay.
and it's outstanding. It's from Loire Valley, part of France, which is closer to Germany.
Okay.
So the wine is slightly, it's dry, but slightly sweet. And I'll tell you, if you like Mexican or spicy food,
I
this
do.
is like the perfect white wine.
Okay, because I do like spicy food, so that'd be perfect.
Right.
You know what else I
Yeah,
need
so
to
that
do?
would be the perfect white wine. There are wines that I say, like, back in the day when my palate wasn't, when I didn't have a palate, put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my first wine that I drank was White Zinfandel. And when I was in class, I made the mistake of asking about White Zinfandel, and the teacher looked at me and she said, "There is no such thing as White Zinfandel."
Okay. Then what have we been drinking all these years?
You were drinking blush wine, like a rosé is what you were drinking.
Okay.
So what it was probably about the 6th. So you remember I was telling you about when they're making the wines, they have the 1,
Right.
2, the 3, the 4. Well, this Zinfandel, what we call White Zinfandel, was probably 7th of the barrel.
Okay. So that's the reason why it's thinner looking and clearer. It's not as potent
Right.
as the first batch of wine that comes out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. But
So
sometimes...
actually, Zinfandel is a red grape.
Uh-huh.
And it is it's a full-bodied wine, and it's usually got the flavors of blackberry, raspberry, bramble fruit, fruit that's on the vines kind of fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually the same as Primitivo. So what happened is, remember I told you that there was some diseases in France,
Yes.
and a lot of the vines had to be grown here in California. So one of them was Zinfandel, but it was the vine was called Primitivo, which originated from, of all places, Croatia.
Oh.
It was, yeah. It's from the Balkans, and it's now called Zinfandel, but the original was called Primitivo. And if you can ever get your hands on a bottle of Primitivo, and I would get Italian Primitivo.
Well, how do you spell that so I can
it's
get the
really
right
good.
spelling? What's the right spelling?
Primitivo is Primitivo. Primitivo.
Okay.
and that's a very great drinking wine. It will remind you slightly of a Cabernet, but different.
Okay. I wrote all this stuff down because I'm going to check it out.
Okay.
And one of the things that I have to learn how to do, though, is I need some kind of list. I guess I can go online and find the types of wine you eat with certain foods, because maybe that's what I'll try to do when I make fish.
Right.
I'll try to find a bottle of wine that goes with the fish, if I have chicken or beef or whatever, because maybe that's what I'll try to do.
But if you're having something as mundane as, say, some cheese, some goat cheese, some brie, some crackers, maybe a little meat, I don't know, a little salami or something like that.
Okay.
You can always pop a bottle of champagne.
Oh, see, I forgot all about champagne. It's actually in the wine family, isn't it?
Champagne is for special occasions. No, champagne is sparkling wine, and it's for any occasion.
Right. We forget that. I forget that champagne is basically a bottle of wine. I have to remember that.
It's a sparkling bottle of wine, and it's beautiful. And I will tell you this: it's made from Chardonnay grapes.
Okay.
So, in order to be called champagne, the champagne has to be made 100% from Chardonnay grapes.
Okay. Well, how come they taste differently? Each bottle of champagne that you open has a different taste to it.
Because it could be that it's dry. It could be where remember what I told you about where each of the grapes are grown, why it tastes different. It's because of
the soil.
The soil. So depending, if you get a California champagne, it's going to taste totally different from a California champagne.
Okay.
If you get a champagne from, first of all, California cannot call its bottled champagne. They have to call it sparkling wine.
Oh, okay.
The only country that can call its bottled champagne is from the Champagne region of France, and it has to be Chardonnay.
Okay. That's nice to know, too.
Only from Chardonnay.
So I have seen bottles of champagne that say sparkling wine.
Right.
Okay. That's nice to know. This was a lot of information.
And now that we're on that subject, in Trader Joe's, they've got a great bottled wine. And Carolyn, I actually buy this wine by the case.
What's it called?
And it's called almond-flavored sparkling wine.
Okay.
And it's from Ultima Creek. The best bottle of sparkling. I mean, if this is like an everyday wine at Trader Joe's that costs $5.99.
Okay.
And tastes like a real nice bottle of sparkling wine. And I drink it all the time.
I will give it a try. I will.
And some of the sparkling wines, they're not champagne. They're sparkling wines because they could be Prosecco.
Oh, yes.
So Prosecco is the Italian version of champagne. So you remember when I told you that only France can use the name champagne, and it has to come from the Champagne region of France.
Okay.
And it has to contain 100% Chardonnay. On the other spectrum is Italy. So Italy has what they call Prosecco, which is a sparkling wine like champagne, but there's a different taste to it, and it's because of the soil. California makes sparkling wines, and every country makes a sparkling wine, but they're not all. We tend to say champagne for everything that's sparkling wine, but technically, France is the only country that can be called sparkling wine. Champagne.
Okay, that's
Everybody
also good
else
to know.
has to be sparkling wine.
That is good to know. I'm going to note that myself. All right. So this was a very interesting conversation. I myself learned a whole lot about wine, and I wrote down a lot of the stuff that you were saying. But for our listeners, where can they go to get information? Pretty much like you just shared.
World Wide with?
Yeah, I know.
The internet.
Any particular?
The Internet of Things. I will tell you there are some good books. Like when I finally got my certification, Lauren went out and bought me. It's called the Wine Bible.
The Wine
and
Bible.
It's by a lady named Karen McNeil, and it gives you a course of everything. I mean, it really truly is a wine Bible. It gives you pronunciations of words.
Okay.
It gives you all the regions, what everything is all wines are supposed to taste like from that particular region. It gives you everything. It's like a book, a wine book of every wine there is. They give you like Italy's wine laws. So Italy's three main categories are DOC, DOCG, and IGT. And the IGT is the one now that they had to make for the Super Tuscans.
Okay.
Because, these are, just remember, these vines have been in these families for generations and generations and generations. So now the new generations are saying, okay, yeah, we like your wine, but we want to experiment and we want to make our own.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where these Super Tuscans are coming from. But in this wine Bible, Karen McNeil explains everything.
Oh, okay.
I mean, So, and you can get that from Amazon. I buy all my stuff from Amazon, but she has sections on every country in the wine that they sell. And, of course, her biggest section is France, Italy, and the United States.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. I might actually pick that wine Bible up myself.
Yeah. And I think that you can get this book for maybe less than $15.
Okay.
I mean, if you buy it new, but there's some used ones in circulation. You can buy a used one. And the only thing that I noticed about the used ones is that, people have highlighted in the book, but that only makes it good for you.
Exactly, because now you know what they were interested in. Works for me.
And had I known that New York State makes great wines, before I left New Jersey, I would have been in New York State at every wine. Every vineyard that they had, I would have been there.
Now,
so you and Alvin should take advantage of that. Y'all should go to these vineyards and they have wine tastings. They have when it's harvest.
Mm-hmm.
If you help them with their harvest, like picking the grapes,
mm-hmm.
They will give you a meal and let you enjoy the fruits of your labor.
Okay, you know what? I would love to do that. The girls and I went to, is it Tomasella? I think it's Tomasella wineries over in Smithville. We did a wine tasting over there, and we brought a few of their bottles of wine. They have a winery. I don't remember where, but I want to go to a winery. I was actually going to suggest that we take a trip to wine country. And just enjoy the fruits of their labor.
So New York State is where the wines are. So their leading wines is Cab Franc, your favorite, Cabernet Sauvignon,
okay,
Chardonnay, and Gewürztraminer. It takes everybody a long time, but Gewürztraminer is a white wine, and I'm probably not saying it right either, but it's a white wine, and it's sort of on the sweet side. And then they have Merlot and Riesling and sparkling wines.
Okay. I guess I can go online and find out where.
New York State. And they have a vineyard in Finger Lakes. You know where Finger Lakes is?
No, I don't. Is that in New York?
Okay.
Okay.
And it's not that far.
Okay.
I mean, it would be maybe a day trip for you guys.
Yeah. So you said Finger Lakes, like your finger in lake?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to look it up.
Like near Seneca. You know where Seneca is?
I do not, but that don't mean I can't look it up.
you maybe make a long weekend and you just visit some. And then there's Lake Erie, and there's Long Island. So that's not too far away.
No.
Long Island.
No, it's not.
They have a vineyard called Palmer Vineyards in Long Island.
Palmer?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of some other ones that I know of. But I didn't even realize, because you really don't realize if you don't study it. You just think that, you buy your wine from the store and you don't give it a thought of where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of wines are made, and every state in the United States makes wine.
Okay.
And they have vineyards.
And I was going to ask you, and they have vineyards. I will tell you
that North Carolina, we make wine too, but our wine is not that great.
Okay.
And can you guess why?
No, why? Why?
Come on now, what makes wine?
Grapes?
Well, yeah, besides the grapes, but it's the dirt. It's the soil.
Oh, okay.
And what kind of soil do we have here?
Well, I don't know. What kind of soil do you have?
We have that red clay, and it doesn't really grow very good wine grapes.
Well, I can imagine that there's other states that don't have good soil.
Yeah, but North Carolina, now just moving over to South Carolina is totally different. The soil is different in South Carolina.
Okay, but South Carolina, they have their own vineyards as well. I thought they were the Bible state.
They do. Mm-hmm. Every state in the United States has a vineyard.
Oh, okay.
Vineyards.
Okay.
And they make wine.
I don't know. For some reason, I thought because South Carolina is like the Bible state or something like that, or North Carolina, I would think that they would refrain from spirits and wine and such.
So in class, I didn't, but somebody else mentioned that too. So aren't we the Bible state? Say, girl, there was more wine drank in the Bible now. Don't be mad at me. I'm just saying.
Oh, I know.
And she said there was more wine drank in the Bible, so why not?
Oh, I know that. But
it was very funny.
Okay, I know that to be true, but I'm talking about there are people who really take that thing very serious, like the woman who asked that question, or the man who asked that question.
Yeah, but if they're asking that question, why are you even in this class?
That is true, too. That is true, too.
I'm thinking that they just asked the question just to make sure. But, again, it doesn't matter what state you're in. In every state in the United States, there are vineyards, there are winemakers, and they have businesses of making wine. People drink wine in all of these states. I don't think that there is any prohibition in any of these states that don't drink wine or alcohol or beer. So all of that is there.
Okay. Well, it looks like our time is up. So I want to thank you, Pennie, for sharing all that information. Most of this information I'll make available on the website too, so that they can have this information. So thank you very much for being my guest today.
You're very welcome. I enjoyed talking. I love talking about wine. So
I know. So I'm we're gonna have to have a conversation again so that you can tell us a little bit more, and then I can also share with you how I've experimented with all the stuff that you told me. Then I can literally be able to tell you all the wines that I tasted, and we can talk about that. All right?
And don't discount the dessert wines. Make sure that you buy some port, and that you buy Ruby 20. And you don't drink a lot of it. Mm-hmm. You just drink enough when you're eating some dessert, and you'll see how it enhances your dessert.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
All right. So you've been listening to Real Talk with Real People. My guest today was Pennie Pavic, and have a good night, and I'll see you next time.